Just try
Michael McWilliams rarely paints people. His muse is Tasmania's landscape.
I've always loved Tasmania and always will, and endless inspiration, really. I don't need to go further afield in many ways. I'm very blessed to live here. I start off dark to light, gradually build up.
Michael is an extraordinary artist. He's of the land, really sets him apart. He has a unique visual voice, a unique style of engagement and a broad appeal.
Art curator Shane Fitzgerald calls Michael's work a love letter to Tasmania, but many carry a warning.
The impact of human intervention is pronounced in his work, and they are essentially all portraits, but portraits of the animals of the landscape in which we are sitting.
One animal is a repeat visitor, either front and centre or hidden.
The thylacine now is put up on a pedestal, really, but if you go back 100 years, it was being hunted to extinction.
He portrays the brutality of what's occurred to the Tasmanian landscape and environment with such humility and gentleness that it appeals to all audiences. He does it in a way that can be accessibly confronting, is probably a nice way of putting it. So he is, in every sense, a very gentle protagonist.
To be quite honest with you, Michael, I ideally wish that we could keep this wall permanently on display.
Shane heads Launceston's Queen Victoria Museum and Art Gallery. He's curated the first public exhibition of Michael McWilliams' work. Covering a 34-year career, it's a blockbuster.
Colleagues and my peers who have come and visited this exhibition have all equally called it a triumph. And the audiences are leaving this exhibition with just sheer joy and wonder and returning again and again and again to be immersed in the world of Michael McWilliams.
I want it to be something that you don't have to look at and say, oh, I can't look at that. And I want to do paintings that people can look at it and smile and not turn away.
The opening's believed to be the biggest in the gallery's history. Hundreds queued to get in. Michael, who didn't believe it would happen, enjoyed seeing works he'd not seen for decades.
It's very much like old friends coming back.
Was that emotional, seeing?
Yeah, I could nearly cry now, actually.
This work here is my equal favourite.
Michael's a unicorn. His shows sell out. Fans sleep outside galleries so they have a chance to buy. His work's lauded by critics, coveted by collectors, and enjoyed by those of us who know very little about art. All can appreciate the serious and the delightfully silly.
I think the hidden animals, the humour, if you had to walk around and find all the hidden little animals, you'd be here for a couple of days or more.
I think his voice in trying to express his concerns has a resonance with so many people, whether they're art knowledgeable or just love the environment. So it's not just for those that need or want the visual arts.
It's estimated 20,000 people, including mainland and overseas visitors, have visited since mid-December, pumping several $1 million into Launceston's economy.
This is my third visit, and I could come back again because every time you come, you see something different.
It's very difficult to take the full breadth and enjoyment of what is in his works and in this exhibition in one sitting. It's almost a necessity. You must come back and see it again with fresh eyes.
I'm also commenting on forestry here too. It's not just the salmon industry. You know, you get the clearfield forests and everything is gone and whatever's left is burnt. So it's a double whammy here, really.
The art bug hit late for Michael. The qualified art teacher taught briefly before leaving the classroom to restore antiques at his parents' shop. In his downtime, he painted scenes on furniture and wood panels.
And I was just dabbling really, but eventually I started selling a few things. I started off with just house paints, but then I eventually bought proper decent paints.
Peter Watts has an early piece.
On the back with his name and a price, and even put a bit of wire on the back for me. So that was bought about 25 years ago, 30 years ago.
Is that special to you?
It is. It hangs right next to my bar.
Painting on canvas takes up most of Michael's time now. But to mix things up, he goes back to wood.
You get bored if you do the same thing every day, so I go back to furniture quite often.
Michael's produced 2,500 works. Shane's curatorial team had a difficult job, as most are in private hands.
Some of these works date back 34 years, so they may have been collected, that collector may have sold it, it's gone into another collection, and so on and so forth. To go through literally paper archives and start cold calling people, and hence the detective work started.
A week from the opening, 99 works had been located and loan agreements signed. Then Shane heard about one he just had to have. The final curtain made it a neat 100.
Well, all those thylacines I use as a message of a mistake made by our politicians, a mistake made that we should learn from. And I think now, with our forests, with our rivers, with our coastlines, that's a mistake that we shouldn't be making. You know, we should be looking after the environment rather than destroying it.
The thylacine was hunted to extinction after a government bounty was put on them to protect farmers' sheep. After they'd gone, wild dogs were found to be guilty, not the shy native. Shane says guilty, not guilty packs a punch.
And makes you really question the ethics and the approaches that we've had in our environment, and particularly with our native species.
Styles and techniques evolve as they go along.
One of the first works you see when you enter is tiger country.
We've got remnants of what was there, and the thylacine clinging onto that little bit of forest that might be left.
Michael has strong views about the impact of the 3 Fs: forestry, fishing and farming.
The environment is so important, and OK, I'll do the fun and the whimsy, but I think out of frustration I'll do the protest paintings, not continuously, but certainly off and on, because it annoys me so much.
OK.
Michael and partner Rob live in an antique-filled home near Launceston.
Come on, Rube.
He's nearing 70 and says he's lucky. Everything he paints sells, the gardens coming together, and restoration of their 1820s home has begun.
Good girl, Ruby.
So the great artist paints walls?
Oh, yeah, yep. It's easier painting walls, though.
The couple are failed hobby farmers. They were adjusting these sheep, but when time came for them to go to the abattoir, Michael bought them. Which brings us to farming. Farmers buy his works. Indeed, they've loaned several of the paintings in the exhibition.
What's your view on agriculture and its impact on the landscape?
Yeah, look, it's a tricky one. I've got lots of friends who are farmers, and most of them do a great job, but I think some don't. Well, I hope they can relate to it. I mean, it's not always a criticism, it's just a comment, really.
This painting, questioning agricultural practices, puts a thylacine in Glover country, a place Michael often visits for inspiration. Near Evandale in northern Tasmania, the area is named after the famous colonial artist John Glover, who lived at Patterdale Farm from the 1830s.
John Glover became known as the father of Australian landscape painting because he was the first artist to really accurately depict the Australian landscape.
Megan Dick curates the Glover Art Prize, which attracts hundreds of entries every year. Michael was the inaugural winner in 2004, the People's Choice winner twice, and one of his paintings hangs in the restored Glover homestead.
Whenever he has entered and been a finalist, it is always a big draw card. I think he's definitely the most coveted artist in Tasmania. And I'm sure Glover would be delighted to have Michael's works on the walls and also his painted furniture included in his house 200 years later.
Mark, I wanted to talk to you about this work here, Muddied Waters.
Shane Fitzgerald says Muddied Waters, set in Glover country, is a masterpiece.
Here in the foreground you've got a painting by Glover called The River Nile Van Diemen's Land, where obviously the water is pristine, or was pristine, and the thylacine looking at you saying, well, this is how it was and how it should be.
McWilliams merch has been restocked several times, and a book featuring photos of the works in the exhibition, as well as 59 extra pieces, will be released later this month. Shane's chosen Bush Picnic for the cover.
It's a 3.5 metre monster of a painting that is, in every way, I think, his finest work. It's a gathering of coterie of all the animals that's been represented throughout his entire career, both exotic, invasive and native. And we dearly wish to have that work. However, it was in a location that would require us to shut down one of the major cities to get it out of a high-rise, and just proved too problematic and too challenging to undertake in time for the exhibition.
It took Shane 2 years to put the exhibition of the man he calls Tasmania's greatest living artist together. With so many private owners involved, once the exhibition closes, that's it. He says, sadly, the works will never be seen together again.